there's no animosity or what do you call it? There's no strife. It's just it's a hard year, and people are trying to figure it out. And is the morale down a little bit? Of course, but that's because we're not playing well, and we need to. We need to improve our game, and I hope we can this week against Florida.
Hello and welcome into this week's edition of Tigers Roar. I am Jonathan Poche, joined by the Budman, Buddy Songy. Thanking you for tuning in, Budman. 2020 is almost over.
Thank the good Lord.
Right.
Who wants to get rid of this freaking year? I do.
Right, we're in the holiday season. We'll remind you guys, check on the ones you love. It is a tough time of the year for a lot of folks out there, including us, LSU Tigers, everyone who's a Tiger fan. Tough time of the year. You heard Zach Von Rosenberg in the intro. Team morale is kind of down. Team hasn't been winning. It's tough to get confidence when you haven't had success. And really, it's just all rolling downhill right now for Ed Ogeron and the Tigers. Eric Gilbert has officially opted out for the remainder of the 2020 season. Coach O said he hasn't had a talk with Gilbert yet about the transfer portal. That's still open. Don't know what's going to happen with Gilbert. Of course, he's a tremendous talent, former 5-star from Marietta, Georgia, struggling with missing some homesickness. I mean, who isn't missing home these days? A rough time of the year, December 2020. A lot going on, a lot to unpack here on Tigers Roar. Before we get into it, I want to remind you guys, check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. A great way to keep up with everything we do here on the Pelican. Tigers Roar, the daily shows, The Exiles with Bill Perfita, Kevin Gallagher, of course, the Clarence Bug Show, and Rocket Right. A whole lot going on. Check us out. We're also on Facebook and Twitter. Keep up with us on social media. Once again, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Jumping right into it, Budman. A lot going on this week. LSU gives up the most points in the history of the rivalry between Alabama, 55-17 this past Saturday. It was ugly. A lot of folks expected it to be ugly. They did score 17, which is the 3 times we played Alabama without Joe Brady. 17 points is the most we scored. Of course, the goose egg, the two times the Roll Tide traveled to Baton Rouge to play the Tigers. So there were some bright spots, not many. It's been a rough week. It's been a tough time to cover these Tigers. Not supposed to happen in the program when you lose like that. Tough season all around.
Yeah, we hope everybody is fighting the anxiety. I'm having a little bit of an anxiety attack simply because, it's tough. We have very semblance of normalcy in our world anymore. And to follow up, we talked about this today on radio and internet. You had the greatest season of all, and we wore that out watching the replays over and over and over again. And, oh, by the way, when you get to the 15th of this month, it'll celebrate, unfortunately, 9 months of this pandemic. And we thought it would be a reload and not a rebuild. It's been a rebuild with a capital R. And you mentioned Eric Gilbert, Terrace Marshall, Jamar Chase, Kerry Vincent, T.K. McClendon, Justin Thomas, Apu Ika, Tyler Shelvin, all these guys that we thought would be on the team this year, whether they quit, opted out, whatever you want to call it. It has been a rough season, and I think it's like a pizza. You got to put a lot of the onus and point the fingers towards the players, but you also have to say, what type of job have the coaches done? And I went a little ballistic when Eric Gilbert was not in the game at the end of the Missouri game. They got a first down on the half-yard line and couldn't get it in.
Yep.
Had wrong personnel, wrong play calls. It's just been a nightmare. We've been talking about this kid. He's a 5-star. He didn't come to LSU to block. He came over here to be the next Kyle Pitts, i.e. Eric Gilbert 2.0. Now, look, I'm not saying that there isn't some things that he could do better. But when I see Torrey Carter coming off of a 2-game suspension and he's getting just as many balls his way as Eric Gilbert, is the kind of thing that makes people mad. Yeah, they scored 17, but they gave up 45 in the first half. And people don't know. Had I not given Nick Saban a case of Little Debbie's, he might have put 70 on this LSU defense. And so culture, lack of respect, a disconnect with coaches and players. And now these opt-outs, there's a lot of innuendos and rumors about other guys will follow after the year. It's just been a season from hell. You hope that they go over and make a good accounting of themselves. But I think this sums it up the best. After last year being so incredibly entertaining and fun to watch and something to look forward to, this has not been a fun season to watch. But you know what? This is all about life here. When it gets tough, you got to get tough.
Yep.
And you got to get your fingernails dirty. And that is what is a bad reflection on these players. Have not had a lot of leadership. Good to see Chris Curry post a positive tweet and say, hang in there with us. We're trying to get through it. But it has been a nightmare for obvious reasons. And JP, first time in 20 years that LSU is not going to win 8 games. It has not been a pretty sight. And I got to be honest with you, I think I had 56 to 57 predictions. 45 or 46 were all for Bama,
Yep.
and most of them big scores.
Right.
So is there going to be a bunch of transition with players and coaches? A lot of people intimate that and think that is the case. We'll have to wait and see. But you see the same people on the way up as you do on the way down. And right now, this thing is steamrolling pretty quickly down. So
That's right.
let's hope that they can put it together, be respectable and competitive, play Florida, a tough game, and then you want to beat Ole Miss. You expect them to go to a bowl game, and what's your thoughts of them going to a bowl game?
I think the practice time is really all you need right now. I mean, you get the extra practice for the bowl time. It is good to get those young guys some more reps. Obviously, it's not been a good year. I mean, you start all the way back in game 1. You get over 600 yards to Mississippi State. You lose to Missouri. You lose in a worst margin in the history of the rivalry between LSU and Auburn. You get 55 to Alabama. I mean, it's not only the 2019 and 2020 teams. LSU is supposed to be a elite program, and this cannot happen when it's supposed to be an elite program. It's supposed to be reload every single year. LSU has talent. I mean, these guys that are on the team are very talented. Just like you said, there's a very big disconnect between the coaches and the players. But getting back to your question about the bowl, I do see them accepting the bowl, whatever bowl that might be. Hopefully, they don't have to travel very far. I mean, and who knows what bowl will even be available with all this COVID going on. I do expect them to take the bowl invite just for the extra practices. I mean, you got to get these guys the reps. You have 2 freshman quarterback. Coach O doesn't know who's going to start the game against Florida. It's either Max Johnson or TJ Finley. 2 very different guys. I mean, Finley has a very strong arm. You sometimes question the accuracy and the decision-making. Max Johnson better with the legs, better with the short throws, the short accuracy. 2 very different play styles. But to answer your question, I do believe they take a bowl. It's going to be a kind of a culture shock to see LSU in the Liberty Bowl if they make it that high.
Well, I've seen Finley start 4 games, and I think we know pretty much what you got there.
Yeah.
I think Max Johnson deserves to get the chart,
Agreed.
to start and see what he does from the get-go. Florida's going to be problematic. They lead the SEC in 29 sacks. They are always tough to block on the edge.
Yep.
So your 2 tackles, once again, are going to be very important. Dare Rosenthal and Austin Deculus. And, you know, that was the problem with TJ. After he got his butt chewed out for throwing the pick 6, I knew he was going to hold on to the ball, so gave up 5 sacks to Bama, which doesn't do a great job of rushing the passer. But you just hope, and we've been talking about players' meetings and coaches' meetings and airing out differences. It just seems like ever since we saw this team want to walk down the hill and protest instead of practice, there's been a disconnect. And obviously, Pelini, as you alluded to, giving up record number of yards against Mississippi State. That quarterback's not even on the team anymore. I think he's done.
Yep.
Kyle Trask came in here last year, very impressive, 21 all at halftime. They scored first in the third quarter, led LSU 28-21. And then Burrow and all of the guys, Brady. I think Linehan coming in for Brady has been a real tough pill to swallow. And obviously, Coach O wanted to be more aggressive, more TFLs and more sacks, but Bo Pelini has just not gotten his guys. I mean, that was embarrassing. I mean, JP, do you really think that you have to be a brain surgeon to know that Devonta Smith can't be guarded one-on-one? I mean, what are you not doing putting 24 on him from the get-go?
Right.
And this drives me crazy every week. Why aren't you pressing and actually redirecting their route at the line of scrimmage to give a guy like Devonta Smith a free run with his route? You got to jam him at the line of scrimmage and be more physical. And, you know, we've talked about it. This team is more finesse and physical. Oh, by the way, if you do not chip Mr. Pitts, 84 will end up with 10 or 11 catches for 165 yards and 3 touchdowns. They've got an excellent wide receiver. They've got a great running back. And of course, Trask is right up there with Mac Jones in the Heisman talk. So 24-point dog on the road. They were a 30-point dog last week at home. It's been a very, very quick free fall. But once again, look, this is when you find out about your team and those guys that want to grit it out and fight it out. And so it's going to be interesting. But to say the least, it has been a tough year, and we know that there's been a lot of negative stuff off the field. So a week from today is very, very important, because that is a chance for them to reestablish a little bit of confidence, not only with the fan base, but also with the team. It's the early signing period, and we'll talk to Mike Scarborough about that when we get him on in about, 45 minutes or so.
We have a lot more here on Tigers Roar, including some Saints talk. We'll also hear from Coach O and some players. Don't go anywhere. He's the Budman Buddy Songy. I'm Jonathan Poche, and you are watching Tigers Roar.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Get 0.9% financing for 60 months on every new 21 Mazda, plus 90 days deferred payments during the season of inspiration at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
don't watch it.
Welcome back to Tigers Roar. I am John the Poche. He is the Bud Man, Buddy Songy. We have some highlights for you from this past weekend's game. Tigers versus the Crimson Tide. We'll roll that in the truck and continue to talk over it. Bud Man, it started off with a bang. I mean, Jacoby Stevens laid a pop. You'll see it right here.
Yeah, good
pop.
pop.
Oh, LSU had some energy, some fire in this game to start.
By the way, can you believe it? The officials actually looked at this as targeting, and it wasn't even close to that. Of course, that was not called. Here is, Butte catching one of the 8 balls he caught Saturday night.
Well, that guy, he really had a good game. Showed his speed on that long touchdown pass, reception, I should say. But, I mean, come on. I saw it live. You have to hold the ball past the goal line to get points in this league.
Here's Eric Gilbert. He might have got his shoulder dinged in this game, and that was part of the opt-out situation. Once again, Tigers are down 7-0 here, but looking pretty good, and they went to Gilbert a lot in the first quarter and then didn't go back to him. I know the young man's frustrated.
I mean, that throw to Gilbert is why you like Finley. He can drive the ball outside the numbers to the sidelines with authority, get those hard throws. And here you go, Kirkland showing his athletic ability. And early on, you didn't know how bad it would get or how fast it would get bad, but here's the Butte touchdown. I saw it live, caught it live, knew he dropped it soon, but heads up, Jonte Kirkland picking the ball up, scoring a touchdown. He gets credit for it, even though it wasn't reviewed. A lot of hoopla was made about the SEC officials, but they did see Kirkland pick it up in the end zone. Touchdown, LSU.
Hey, I had a problem. Somebody should have been chewing on him in the end zone, on the sideline to tell him not to do this. And here's John Emery. Without a doubt, he showed flashes of what we thought we were going to see when LSU was able to get this kid back from Georgia after he had committed to the Bulldogs. I thought it was his best game as a Tiger. He ran hard the whole night.
I agree. Made me wonder why he hasn't got the ball more, hasn't been featured more in the LSU offense.
Well, he hadn't been able to produce the results like they have. Nice tackle here, Micah Baskerville, although Damone Clark did play a lot in this game and led the Tigers with 13 tackles. 10 of those assisted.
Mac Jones had a good game. He was perfect for a while in the first half. Didn't have an incomplete pass. Crimson Tide was driving, but here you go. A great play by Ward, stripping the ball. Recovered by LSU. Trying to keep them in the game early. Recovery by Stingley Jr.
Stingley Jr. doesn't have an INT. Good to see him get a fumble recovery. Slade Bolden from North Louisiana on the fumble there. And here is Trey Palmer. Good to see Palmer back. They need to get him more involved, and I hope he's got a few passes his way Saturday night against Florida on ESPN.
You see Max Johnson in the game. You can see the touch he has in the short to mid-range throws. Number 14 did progress against Alabama. I thought it was his best showing this season.
Yeah, Cade York, once again, it wasn't down the middle, but it got right inside the uprights with a 52-yarder. He's been pretty darn good all year long, especially with the length. I think he could kick it from about 59 or 60, JP.
And he's very reliable. A young kid, still has a couple years left in the LSU uniform. The backup strength for Alabama, Ali Gay gets a sack right here.
Ali Gay, the only sack of the night. He's had a good season. Of course, we know. I want to see Jaqueline Roy get a few more snaps at D-tackle.
And you'll see so close with interception by Stingley Jr. right here. Should have had it, got his paws on it, couldn't bring it down.
Yeah, just still don't know why Stingley Jr. wasn't chomping at the bit to want to get all over Devonta Smith after last year's game. Once again, these highlights are late, and the ball game has pretty much been decided here. Max doesn't have the arm strength of T.J. Finley, but I like his touch, and certainly I like his potential going forward.
And then you saw in the last play, Torrey Carter getting a catch. I like Carter. Guy's got great intensity, great attitude. He's what you want in a fullback. Like you said, you can't throw him the ball more than you throw your five-star tight end.
Well, and on the fourth down call early in the game when it's 7-0, he should be in the game pushing T.J. Finley forward to get the first down. There have just been so many coaching faux pas. And look, it's like we said, the combination pizza. The players have got to get the call. They've got to execute it. But it's just been tough all season long. Nothing has been simple. Nothing has been predictable. And you just hope that the fan base can hang in there and this thing doesn't go to hell in a handbasket, because there's a lot of people that – and, you know, I had a caller during the show say, listen, they won a national championship this year. You guys got to let up. Unfortunate in business, in life, but specifically when you're competing against Saban and everybody in the SEC, you're only as good as your last win, your last game, your last championship. And so the honeymoon is quickly been destroyed, and we know that this is extenuating circumstances with COVID and no spring and freshman quarterback and all the opt-outs and attrition, but people still want to look forward to LSU playing Saturday and Saturday night. And I got to tell you, there wasn't much pop before the game, wasn't much fan interest in the game. $27 to $34 tickets. This getting a little precarious right now.
Well, it was Tell the Truth Monday for Coach Orgeron. You have to give Coach O credit. A lot of coaches out there, they would have been short with the media. He knows things are bad. He knows the fan base is not happy. But Coach O took his time, answered every single question from the media politely, took his time, gave thoughtful answers. Want to let you guys hear part one of the press conference with Coach O. Here he is Monday from Tell the Truth Monday. Here's head coach Ed Orgeron.
All right, guys, Tell the Truth Monday. I thought our team, just like I said after the game, competed very hard, prepared well. The will to win on the sideline was there throughout 60 minutes of the game, evident on our last drive by the offense, a 15-play drive. A lot of young players got a lot of valuable playing time, competed very hard. I give Alabama credit, outstanding football team. They played a great game. There's some great players on that football team. And but you know what? We got to bounce back today. We got to get ready for Florida, another great football team on the road, explosive offense. Some of the things that we have to eliminate, and obviously, as I said all season, explosive plays, especially in the passing game. Got to get better pressure on the quarterback. I was pleased that offense scored 17 points. We missed that 4th and short going in to tie the game 7-7. Could have been a difference in the ball game very early, and we didn't get that done, so we have to improve on that stuff. But I thought overall, offensively, we made some improvement in some areas. Any questions?
Hey, good afternoon, Coach. Is there any advantage to getting Max Johnson a start in a game and knowing that he's going to be a full-time starter in a week?
Yeah, I think that's something that we're going to give consideration to this week and look at it. I thought Max played very well. I thought also TJ did some things. That is something we're going to give consideration for this week.
Hey, past couple of weeks, you've talked about defensive scheme. You talked about players too. Like you've said, can we call plays better? Can we play better? Yes. Throughout the weeks, what's been kind of the core thing that you found schematically that's not working? Is it just different game plans, in-game adjustments? What are the things that you're seeing most?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of all of it. Everything that you said has happened at some point in the season, and then also execution. It's a combination of both of them.
Hey, Coach. Ed, New Orleans. Good afternoon. Coach, do you think based on all the people you lost in the NFL to the draft and all the people you've lost from the summer on to now, that the expectation for this team was too high, and why are you so bullish on the future?
Because I'm a competitor, and we had LSU. But you know what? It's hard for me to look at, hey, this is what we lost, this is what we don't have. I always kind of look at what we do have, and I do believe we have some outstanding freshmen. Now we need to learn how to play. And, it all started there with playing poor defense at the beginning of the year. And we were playing good offense. We were scoring 40, 41 points, and then Miles Brennan got hurt. So there was a lot of blows throughout the year that this team took, but I still think there's fight. I still think that we have a great recruiting class. I love the freshmen that we have on this football team, and I think that with 1 or 2 recruiting classes, we will build championship teams again. I feel like we can do it. I think maybe 3 years ago after we lost to Troy, nobody would ever predict that we would win a national championship, having one of the best football teams in the history of football. We did it, so I do believe we can do it again.
And Ed, you talked about from against Texas A&M, you said that was the best the defense had played all year.
Yeah.
Were you surprised at all by how the Alabama game turned out? What was the main thing that kind of?
Yeah. Well, Alabama's a different offense than Texas A&M, number one. and they're very explosive. And I think they were scoring 48.5 points per game, 500-something yards of offense. So they've had a very successful season, outstanding quarterback. I was surprised that we couldn't get a better rush on them, to be honest with you. I was real disappointed that we jumped off sides 3 or 4 times, I think twice on 4th down, and then again, the ability to stop the explosive plays. I thought they were going to make some plays, but, in the second half when Stingley was on Devontae, I thought he did a pretty good job. I wish we could have got him on Devontae more in the first half. Formations and stuff dictated that we couldn't. We had a couple of busts. Sometimes we were supposed to double them and we didn't. So there were some misassignments, some errors on that part. But you got to give them credit. They made the plays.
Coach, kind of got a little bit of a two-parter for you. I mean, we kind of noticed that Stingley was, kind of limping a little bit in the second half. I mean, just kind of what's his status moving forward? And also, this season hasn't gone exactly the way you guys had hoped. But I'm just curious just how much you're talking about building confidence and momentum for 2021, with your younger players in particular, just where those
yeah. First of all, Stingley had a slight injury in the beginning. I think it maybe been the second quarter or something like that, and he came back and he fought. I think he's going to be fine. I talked to Jack this morning, so he's going to be at practice today. We don't talk about 2021. We talk about finishing 2020. I got to give credit for all these guys that stayed, that didn't opt out. We want to finish strong. I think that you saw the willingness to compete to the very end against a very good football team was there, and I expect that throughout the season.
Hey, Coach, good morning. Couple of quick questions for you, if I can. First off, Missouri, you were first and goal, a few inches away to win the game, and last couple of weeks, your first possession of the game, you've been marching down the field, but short yardage has just killed these drives. Yes. Just what's your evaluation of the short yardage this year? And when Scott Linehan's supposed to be, this is his specialty in terms of moving the ball?
Well, short yardage is still, Steve. Scott is 3rd down, but not 3rd down and short. We didn't block the edge very well on that play. I wish we'd have snuck it. And we should have snuck it. We shouldn't have took the ball off the line of scrimmage, but we didn't. We thought we had a play there. We missed. We had a cut block. The guy jumped around it and made a tackle for a loss, but that was a very decisive play. I'm not saying it would change the outcome of the game, but it could have put us up 7-7 against the #1 team in the country. It gave us a little momentum. So I thought we had learned our lesson, but obviously we didn't. It's something I got to get better.
And, Coach, when we think about Florida, we think about Dan Mullen and offense and all that, but I looked and saw that they're leading the SEC in sacks. They apparently really get after the quarterback. What kind of challenge is that for your offensive line?
Protection again. Protection again. We're going to have to win some one-on-ones. They're very talented up front. I know their defensive coordinator very well. He was a defensive line coach. He teaches great technique, and it's going to be a challenge for us.
And at first, just didn't look like Jordan Tolles was on the sideline. At least I couldn't see him Saturday. What's his kind of status right now?
Yeah, I think Jordan's going to be fine. I think he should be back for this week.
Okay. And then also, obviously your offense did have to change when Miles Brennan went down and whatnot. So I'm curious, does the way you judge how your offensive staff's doing, all these things, does that change when the season changed, when you rely on 2 freshmen?
Those are all things, Brody. When the season's over, I'm going to look at it. But right now, our focus is on Florida.
Hey, Coach Garland Gillen here in New Orleans. You have 20 verbal commits for your 2021 class. Are you going to reassess maybe who to get to those last spots because of what's happened on your offensive line? The depth hasn't been there this year, and probably could say it's not one of their better performances this season. Is that something you're trying to get with the line?
Yeah, obviously offensive line is a priority for us. And we only have 1 commitment right now. So, yes, there's a sense of urgency there. I do believe we're in on some big-time players. I do believe we're going to have success on 1 or 2. We may need a junior college player or maybe a graduate transfer in that area. So I have to hold a couple of scholarships for graduate transfers. We had a roster management meeting this morning, and that subject did come up.
Hey, Ed, you touched on this a little bit already today, but I'm just curious, how, with where y'all at in the season, do you balance still trying to win now, like you said, but also figuring out what you have in these freshmen and these younger players that make up such a large part of your roster?
Well, Wilson, to be honest with you, we're doing it already. They all playing. I mean, it's not like we saving for the future. It's what we have, and most of the players that are playing for 2020. It just so happens that most of them are young players.
Go Nation.
Hey, Coach. Paul Boron from CST. Two-part question about DeRay Jenkins. What drew you guys to him in recruiting, and what can you say about his development, especially this year, but since he's been on campus?
I'm very proud of DeRay Jenkins. He had some hardships, losing his mother, and he never blinked. Got a great coach, high school coach, great family. Has turned into be one of our team leaders, has developed, came here from junior high school. We liked it. We liked his tape. We liked the way he caught the ball. We liked the way he ran routes. Has developed into an outstanding receiver and really one of our team leaders. He's one of my favorite stories at all. See how much he's grown as an individual here at LSU.
Coach Scooter Hobbs and Lake Charles, when it comes to so-called re-recruiting, what tack or how do you have to balance that, and what do you use in those discussions?
You're talking about keeping our guys from going out early. Yeah. Well, we're doing it. We're doing it. I promise you, doing it on a daily basis. And I've talked to most of the guys that about coming back. Some of them are dead set on going, obviously. Some of them are still considering coming back, so we're still talking to them on a daily basis. Obviously, you have to worry about the season here, but that has been addressed with most of our players on that. We want them to come back. We'd love them to come back and where they're at and talking to their families.
Well, what is your sales pitch, I guess, would be it?
Well, development, stay another year. Some guys stay another year and make $10 million by staying another year, get drafted higher. It all depends where they're at, where the draft grade comes back, if they're first round, second round, third round, lower round player, and maybe come back and have another year and develop and get drafted higher.
Coach, with just a few games left in this season, I might be jumping the gun here, but have you and your staff talked about what the way the bowl eligibility is this year with everybody pretty much eligible?
Yeah.
Is there a scenario where you wouldn't accept a bowl invite this year?
Well, first of all, that conversation has never come up about a bowl or not a bowl. So we're concentrating on Florida. Then obviously we're going to be concentrating on Ole Miss. Then after that, we're going to see where they invite us to go, and then that's going to be discussed. But as far as for me, that has never been discussed.
All right, that was head coach Ed Ogeron here on Tigers Roar. Budman, LSU face.
Took the sunglasses off.
Better mood.
Normally, I would keep them on for the whole show because there's been a lot of negativity and losses. But, we hope that let's just spit it out. Are they listening to their coaches? Is there a disconnect? Do you think they're fired up and ready to go? Or you expect if Florida jumps on them quickly? I think the first quarter in this game is incredibly important. All the things that have happened this week, you can't afford to get down 10-0, 14-0 on the road at the Swamp. It could snowball and once again be a bunch of points scored by halftime. But Coach O scrambling for the answers, and as we know, this is what you get paid big bucks because it's not easy making a living trying to determine how 18 to 23-year-olds and one 30-year-old are going to act.
I mean, to answer your question, today, yes, I think the team is fired up. They want to get back on the field, show they can do better than what they did this past weekend. The same for tomorrow and the next day. But you come out Saturday, 6 o'clock, ESPN, things don't go your way early. Then you start feeling, all that pressure starts building up. And success breeds confidence. Confidence breeds more success. When you're not successful, it's hard to have confidence. A couple bad breaks early, it's tough to come back. I mean, it's a snowball effect.
It may happen tonight on his radio show. It may happen tomorrow on the final Thursday afternoon media appearance of the week at 5:30 with Coach O on the Zoom call. I expect Max Johnson to get the start. No, he doesn't have as strong as arm as TJ Finley, but I think he gets rid of it a little quicker, and he does have some feet to get out of some jams. But, man, look, it's driving me crazy when they go hurry up on 3rd and short and 4th and short, and that's not working out good. So let's hope that the defense, you got to know where Kyle Pitts is every play. They've got an excellent running back as well as a wide receiver that can hurt you.
Yeah.
But here's the question. Can they disguise and put some pressure on Kyle Trask? Because if he has time to throw, as accurate as he is, and let's be honest, him and Mac Jones right now are probably 1-2, however way you want to throw it together. He's going to be looking for big stats just like Jones had. And thankful for Nick Saban that he laid off the pedal because that thing could have been ugly last weekend.
Yep.
I'm just hoping that they can come in there, play their hearts out, and get scrappy and have some success early because I worry about another game that we're looking at halftime, 31-7. The good part about last week is when Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson's microphones didn't work. That was the best part of the broadcast for me.
Amen, Bud, man. Pitts, the elite tight end in college football right now. LSU's going to have to change up some coverages. There is nobody on the Tigers that can cover Pitts man on man. The guy is elite. He makes highlight catches every single week. Definitely going to be a first round in the NFL. You would think that Eric Gilbert would project to be something like Pitts if he would stay around LSU or wherever he goes. If he does transfer, the kid has that type of talent. But Pitts is the bar right now for elite tight ends. In your opinion, how can LSU slow him down? Now, Kyle Trask, in my opinion, is having a year a lot like Joe Burrow last year. Great inside the pocket. His awareness is unmatched. Quick decisions, accurate with the football, especially downfield. What can LSU do to possibly slow down that connection between Trask and Pitts?
By the way, I like the analogy and the parallel with Burrow, although he's not making the plays and he will never make the plays with his feet that Burrow made. And that really helped that offensive line out a lot last year. This year, Pitts, look, we're getting ready to listen to Jabril Cox. I think what they should do is jam him and not give him a free pass running down on his route. So either you got a safety over the top or you jam him or you double him because he can hurt you. And we know Tony and some other guys that they have are very explosive. But back to Trask, you got to get him uncomfortable. You got to make him throw it before he wants to, and you got to hit him and put pressure. And I think Florida's offensive line may give up some pressure and some sacks. Now, Florida leads with 29 sacks, so over and under for sacks on Saturday night, I'm going to just be very nice here and say that Florida is probably looking at 5 sacks or more in this game Saturday night, unless LSU does a better job of holding and getting away with it.
Going to take a quick break here on Tigers Roar. Come back and join us. We'll hear from some players, including Jabril Cox, a transfer from North Dakota State, playing great ball for the Tigers, leading the team with solo tackles with 29, 45 total tackles on the season. Don't go anywhere. He's the Bud Man. I'm JP. You're watching Tigers Roar.
Creel Tree Service is a licensed and insured tree service providing tree and stump removal, topping, trimming, cabling, pruning, and fertilizing. We have free stump removal with takedowns, free estimates, affordable rates, and senior citizens discounts. Call 774-TREE. That's 774-8733. Get your yard ready for the warmer weather. If it deals with a tree, call me, Creel Tree Service, 774-8733. That's 774-TREE.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer welcomes you to our biggest clearance sale of the year, the Happy Honda Days sales event. Get year-end clearance pricing on over 900 new Hondas, plus a complimentary lifetime powertrain warranty with every new Honda. Save thousands on your new Honda right here at Team Honda.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
I've seen a lot of things during my life, more bad things than good. I've lived in a lot of places, but never a home. I don't think anybody cares about me anymore. And now, I'm tired. Signed, Brian, age 11.
Abused and neglected children in East Baton Rouge Parish are in dire need of CASA volunteers. Please call 379-8598 today. Change a life of hurt into a life of hope.
Hello. Hola. 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
We continue on. Tigers Roar, talking about the LSU defense, number 19, Jabril Cox, a senior linebacker transfer from North Dakota State. You saw the first game, pick 6 against Mississippi State. We thought big things were coming from number 19. The linebacker position is one that has struggled for the Tiger defense, 19 and 18. Both maybe not have played up to expectations, but, I mean, a guy coming from North Dakota State playing teams like Southeastern, this is a big step up going into the SEC. Jabril Cox has definitely held his own. He's going to have a tall task this coming weekend trying to cover 84.
I think the biggest knock on him so far is just stepping up in the A gap and being able to strong enough to defend the run and stop teams from running downhill. You know, I predicted that Najee Harris was going to get 165 on the ground, and Nick must have wanted to make me look bad because he got 145 and then he took him out early in the third quarter.
Yep.
And then the other two running backs got another 60 or 70. Damone Clark had a good game now. He had 3 unassisted and 10 assisted. That was his best game of the year, but you mentioned it. 23, 18, and 19 have been primarily the inside backers, and I think they're going to probably have Jabril Cox chipping on Kyle Pitts, hopefully. You got to know where he is all the time, and it'll be interesting. Dan Mullen's an excellent play caller. During the game, he makes excellent adjustments, so look, we didn't show the film, but spicy interaction on the sidelines with Coach O and Coach Pelini. Is it a foregone conclusion that he's not back as a DC next year?
Put me on the spot, huh?
Yeah.
In my opinion, yes, it is a foregone conclusion. You cannot tell me having an abbreviated offseason made that much of a difference where Coach Pelini couldn't have installed a basic defense where the linebackers, safeties, and cornerbacks were all on the same page. I mean, it is not that difficult. These guys have played football since they were very small. There's only so many kinds of defenses you can call. Even if it's the most sophisticated defense, combo, blitz, zone, whatever you want to call it, these guys could pick it up. There's just a serious disconnect between the coaches and the players, the communication on the field from the coaches to the players, and then amongst the players themselves. Sorry to admit it was a bad hire. Bo Pelini has not gotten it done any stretch of the imagination. He was a very good coach back in 2007, 2008. This is a different world. The players are different. The kids are different. The game is different.
Sure.
Maybe his style just was not what LSU needed at the time. When you talk about polar opposites, Pelini and Dave Aranda, Aranda was a very subdued, sharp thinker, drew up some very creative defense. And look, I'm not saying that Bo Pelini isn't able of coming up with creative defenses. He's having trouble communicating basic cover 2 schemes to his linebackers and cornerbacks, and that is a serious problem for a defensive coordinator.
And I think what happened is he's playing cover 1, cover 0, no safety over the top, and then Devonta Smith leaving Cordell Flott in his tracks. I felt bad for 25.
Yeah.
Look, you put Elias Ricks on. If Stingley doesn't want any part of him, you put Eli Ricks on him. But they let Flott get burned 2 or 3 times. I hate it. The one thing that I've seen on defense is that not a lot of disguising and not a lot of surprises.
No.
I was disappointed whether you get burned or not. You know, you got to send some pressure.
Yep.
You know how the A&M came and they didn't have them accounted on where they would come from the blitz? Same thing with Alabama. I haven't seen Bo Pelini trick many offensive coordinators this
Right.
year.
That's a great
and
point.
so Mullen is one of the best. You better have a great game plan. I will say this. They tackled better against A&M. I thought that they fought hard and didn't give up against Alabama. But, JP, it's 45 to 14 at halftime. That was like a Morgan there. And, you know, that's the travesty. I'm glad we've had football.
Yeah.
But, and of course, we had that discussion, will they play or will they not play? This has been tough to stomach after the greatest LSU football team in history.
Right. I mean, what's the old saying? I mean, the higher you are, the further you fall, right? Number 19 is going to have a big task at hand this weekend when LSU takes on the Florida Gators. 19 is going to have to play some part in trying to contain Pitts. I want to let you guys hear from number 19. Here is senior linebacker for the LSU Tigers, Jabril Cox.
Right, exactly. We're all just still trying to put good tape on film. A lot of guys on the team, we're looking at the next level and trying to reach that goal. So putting on good film against pretty good teams is something that we're striving for. And by doing that is trying to play great together as a team and just going through practice and everything. We're just trying to keep our heads up high. I think Coach, he's been doing a good job of telling us keep fighting. Everything that's happened in the past has happened, and we just have to look forward.
Hey, Jabril, I mean, with all that's going on, is it mostly football? I mean, if you guys were, say, 8-0 and going towards SEC championship and things like that, would things be better? Or with all that's leaving, is it more than football?
I think right now these are weird times and everything that's going on. You could look at it as more than football, but at the end of the day, just if we were an 8-0 team right now, then everything would be totally different. But since we're not, a lot of people they might be hanging their heads and everything. But if you put this in perspective, it just depends on how you have an outlook on life, and you can either look at it as the glass halfway empty or halfway full. So it all depends on that.
Jabril, looking at Florida here for a second, what's going to be the challenge in stopping Kyle Pitts, and what makes him such an effective player? I imagine you might have some responsibility in lining up against him Saturday.
Right. Their offense, Kyle Pitts, Kyle Trask, Tony, they're all great weapons that he has to throw to. And just him, he's kind of like a Eric Gilbert, someone that I've seen in practice most of the time, the way he runs his routes, the way he battles for the jump balls and is physical. So me and him matched up one-on-one would be a great competition come this Saturday.
And Jabril, it's been a long year since you arrived to now. I mean, how much of some of the things that happened over the summer, through the preseason, have those things been resolved? I mean, or is there still things that y'all hope do get resolved?
As in,
like, you know, it seemed like, you know, the summer there was, you know, into the preseason there was, you know, just, I don't know. It may have just been conjecture, but I'm trying to just understand maybe if there's, you know, I don't know, anything from the beginning to now that, you know, maybe I'll wish might get figured out.
Everything that happened over the summer and everything, it's cleared up right now. Everybody, we have our own decisions and options to do things, but everything happens for a reason, and everybody that's here now, we're just ready to fight and go on towards Saturday.
We talked, you mentioned Eric, and obviously his situation is fluid right now, but I can't imagine a guy having more of a culture shock than coming from North Dakota to Baton Rouge. I mean, maybe if you went to New Orleans, it would have been even more extreme. But can you speak to that, having a young team and maybe facing some challenges this season that normal freshmen probably aren't going to face, and trying to navigate those waters? And how do you or any of your teammates, put an arm around a guy in a situation like this and kind of help walk them through it?
Right, having a young team, it can be extremely difficult, especially from the student-athlete sides of it, being your first year. A lot of people don't like to see, they overlook how mental health is really something that student-athletes have trouble with going on throughout the season, and that can take a toll on you, especially with COVID going on, you being away from your family and everything. So it's up to us older guys to kind of just grab the younger guys and just teach them the ways and how to get through it and ways to cope with it, because you're always going to miss your family and people that you've been used to being around, and this being a new environment is something that a lot of people aren't used to. So just having older guys to look up to and just continuing to show them the ways through.
Jabril, you came from a program where you rarely lost in 3 years, national championships every year. Now you're in a situation where it's just trying to get a win. How have you put that in perspective? Because those are so far opposite dynamics.
Yes, I think this helps me, and it mostly humbles me, and knowing how to lose and how to come back, and feeling that hunger again, because when I was at North Dakota State, we barely even felt the loss. So just having this down season is something that I always keep within me, and just knowing that how I have to always continue to work hard and strive to continue to be at the top.
Hey, y'all, you were talking a minute ago about those freshmen kind of what they're doing off the field, but I mean, on the field, y'all relying on so many underclassmen. At the same time, you're trying to, finish the season with some wins here and put things together. Is it difficult to sort of combine that desire to win now and develop the guys that haven't had that much experience at the college level? And in your experience, how much time does it kind of take freshmen to sort of get to this level where they need to be?
Yeah, it mostly depends on the freshmen themselves. Some people, they're quick learners and they get up to speed real fast. Some people, it'll take them a couple games. So just giving them this experience is something that's very helpful for them. But trying to win right now and giving them the experience is something that we're working on in practice, getting them up to speed and everything, especially during Competition Tuesday. So this is like a real tough battle day for them, for all of us. So just trying to get younger guys and older guys at the same level, either communicating or playing wise, is something that we're still working on.
Hey, Jabril, Coach O mentioned there's a kind of a re-recruiting process with some of the seniors who could come back next year, and then some of the juniors who had the option of coming back and or going to the draft. I'm not sure where you are in your process, but when you look at the future in 2021, what do you see in terms of that way going to your decision that you think is something worth coming back for?
Right. I see a bright future in this coming next season, because the amount of young guys right now are getting the amount of reps. So next year they won't be considered rookies anymore. They'll be vets within the playing system. So there's a lot of young talent on the team that getting some run this year was very key for them going into next year. So next year I see LSU back at the top.
Continue here on Tigers Roar, as Clarence Buggs would say, if you could only hear what we talk about between segments with Marty. What a classic, huh?
Can you believe how versatile Marty is? By the way, folks, we hope that all of you had a very safe and happy and turkey-filled Thanksgiving, and we know that a lot of you are out there, you've lost some loved ones. I know a lot of you been quarantined. It's just been one thing after another, so always trust in the Lord and hopeful that we get through this. You and I are both very spiritual And we hope that we can have some semblance of normalcy in 2021, not just in the athletic fields and diamonds and courts. LSU, by the way, a little basketball, they had to stop. They had some COVID issues, so they're not going to go and play on Saturday, but they will reschedule and play Monday morning in a game. And they're kicking back up. Pelicans with obviously Zion and Adams to do the grunt work and a new coach.
New head coach.
And the Saints are doing great things, and they may not be the prettiest team in the league, but boy, that defense is playing lights out. And they're going to be favored in every game except the Kansas City game. So I hope that, that'd be something if they could get home field advantage through the playoffs.
We have a lot more here on Tigers Roar, including a very special segment with Mike Scarborough from TigerBait.com. You don't want to miss it. Stay right where you are. This is Tigers Roar. We'll be back right after this break.
Taste the feeling.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bugg Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Cantea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Cantea, your Italian dining will change forever.
At Team Toyota, Toyotathon is underway. It's your chance to save during our biggest sale of the year. Get our lowest prices and our lowest payments on every new Toyota. Plus, get a complimentary lifetime powertrain warranty with every new Toyota. Right now at Team Toyota.
And we welcome you back on a Wednesday evening here, starting to get dark. And, of course, most people know we are a couple of weeks away from Christmas. So, Mike, it's always interesting. And, JP, the craziest year ever, not only with the COVID, but can you believe it? And we talked to Mike about this today on the radio show. These kids are making a decision for the next 3, 4, or for those that get hurt and redshirt and stay and use up all 5 years. For the next 3, 4, 5 years, they're making a decision and have not even been able to take visits. Now, a lot of these kids have certainly made those visits, Mike, and we talked about it. But, JP, how would you like, and you got a kid that plays ball, how would you like it if your kid could not take visits and yet you're having to make that decision, not being able to go visit Alabama, Georgia, Florida, LSU, A&M? I just think it's crazy times, and I hope that we don't look back at this and say, man, there are a lot of misses because of the COVID year.
I mean, truly, they had to send me a big box of swag. I know that. If I couldn't bring Drew to visit campus, something would have to grab your attention. I mean, you have to get some good gear. I mean, talk to the coaches every day on the phone, maybe. You're just losing a huge aspect, though, when you can't go view the campus, view the facilities, be there, talk to the coaches. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, it's such a big loss. How do you make that decision without really spending quality time on campus, seeing if you're going to fit in, seeing if you're going to like it? LSU's a big place, and I don't know if you really know how big the campus is until you get there. But if you have class across campus, you really get a little card or something. People don't know what it's like on these campuses until they get there.
And all those excuses did not deter Mike Scarborough from doing a great job, as he has followed a lot of these kids. Mike, happy Wednesday, and let's get right into it. Talk about the importance of next Wednesday with the early signing period. It is for Coach O, once again, restoring some confidence within the fan base, within the team, within all the people that care about LSU. Big signees on the horizon, and you still think LSU is a pretty hot school, don't you?
I don't know about hot. I keep saying, you look at what we were saying this time last year, there was no hotter or sexier team in college football than LSU. And now there's no team in America that's the bigger laughing stock than LSU. So it's been a complete 180 in a year. But as far as recruiting, and we're going to see how the chips fall next week, but could there be something that happens that makes people upset? Sure. But I still think overall LSU's going to have a good day next Wednesday. I think if somehow you didn't have to play football the next 2 weeks and all you had to look forward to was signing day next week, I think the attitude might be a whole lot better, because then you'd be, starting to chart a path in your mind as to the trajectory of the LSU program, and then you'd also be at the point, and you'd already be in the off season where you're supposed to be right now, and seeing what Ed Orgeron's going to do to make some changes. Well, so we just got to wait it out.
Yeah. The other thing, Mike, is that, you kind of intimated this on the show, that there could be some coaching changes, but once again, it starts next Wednesday. And, Mike, we talked about numbers. Let's talk tonight on TV about filling needs. What are the big needs in this class, and do you feel confident after the first Wednesday in February that this class will have filled the needs that Coach O and his staff need to fill?
Yeah, the biggest needs in the class, certainly on defense, safeties and linebacker. And when I'm saying linebacker, I'm also including edge rushers, defensive end types. And they will have met that. Still a possibility of guys like Jordan Gilbert. We'll see how that plays out. But, I think LSU's got the 4 safeties they need. Then on the offensive side of the ball, offensive line, of course, is the biggie. You've got 4 wide receivers, possibly 5 if Brian Thomas decides to come on board, and he's not going to sign next week. He's going to wait till February. So, there's that whole discussion about if he comes on board, that would give LSU 5 receivers, and then Jack Best being a tight end, which I think they're already talking to him about putting on weight, which I don't like. I don't. He's 213 pounds right now, and I disagree. I can't see that kid. I can't see him at 230 and up. I don't believe his frame can carry that, but that's another discussion. So they've got their wide receiver needs met. You got the quarterback. You got a running back. There's probably going to get a second running back. I think they're going to get Armani Goodwin. And I just put out a probables, possibles, and questionables in our all-day chat. And I feel darn good about where I've got everything, how accurate it is as of today. I think I pretty much nailed it as where it should be as of right now. So I got that on Tiger Bait. But offensive line, the rest of the way is the main focus.
Yeah. I was just going to say, JP, the other problem that you have is that you don't know who's going to leave. You don't know who is going to opt out or transfer out. And you don't know what seniors are going to be talked back in. Mike, do you get a feel that Liam Shanahan and maybe some of the other offensive linemen can come back next year? And how does that factor in to recruiting?
It's going to be a case-by-case basis. It's hard to know, which guy's got a new girlfriend he's excited about, which guy, is this how many hours away from graduation. Are they having fun despite the what happens on Saturdays? Are they enjoying it? Most people aren't enjoying a whole lot of anything in 2020. So, to me, it might be it's probably a lot tougher sell than you think. It's a much easier sell if you're looking at a team that's 7-3 right now. And you're thinking, hey, man, you come back next year and we're a legit contender against Alabama to win the West. That's not what you're able to sell at LSU right now. So I think it's a tall order for LSU. Just from where we sit and not knowing all the little details inside, I mean, Ed Ingram, Deculus, Rosenthal, et cetera. You can say, oh, yeah, well, that kid's not going to be a high draft pick. He's got to come back. Well, no, nobody has to come back. Some people might just say, you know what, I'm ready to get my degree and get a job. You just don't know from one guy to the next.
Mike, there was a father of a 2021 commit that tweeted out that local media in Baton Rouge really handled the Eric Gilbert situation poorly, as he felt. Really felt discouraged about how they were calling out that kid without knowing the heart and mind. Really in a tough situation this year. LSU is obviously struggling. It's been a down year. You have to kind of handle the situation with knit gloves. You don't want to turn off future prospects in order to come to LSU. Am I wrong? I mean, you have to kind of spin the positive aspect of this to give these kids some encouragement to come down to Baton Rouge.
No doubt. And look, there's a very much a generational thing with this as well. You can talk to a former player that's 25, and he might look at it different than a former LSU player who's 45. Yeah. But at the same time, most people in the media did not have all the details as to why Gilbert did what he did and what's actually going on behind the scenes. I feel pretty confident as to the information I got as to what was going on with him Monday, which is why I didn't go hog wild like some other guys did.
Yeah.
Hey, we talk about O-line, Mike, and I got a question after you were off today about James Craig, and wanted to know your opinion of A, him as a recruiter, and B, as a developer of talent. We look at JP, Cordell Thomas, Thomas Perry, and Anthony Bradford were all highly touted O-linemen and either got heavy or had injuries and haven't been in the mix. And then you look at Dumerville, Marlon Martinez, Xavier Hill, and others who came in last year. Mike, any particular reason why those six or some of those other O-linemen haven't gotten PT and maybe gotten to be where they could compete for starting?
I hear good things about Xavier Hill. I've heard good things about Martinez and how much muscle he's put on. They're a year in, so the scrutiny that they get isn't near what Perry and Cordell Thomas and Bradford are getting. We've seen Bradford in spots. I think of those three in that class, he's got the highest probability of being a guy for you. I think Thomas Perry might be next, and then Cardell Thomas is the one that people are really scratching their head and saying, what's going on here? And of course, both he and Perry have had to fight through injuries and surgeries. But you're now in year 3, and you're coming up on spring football. And you mentioned Dumerville and Hill and Martinez that are behind them. And are they going to go right over them this spring and make their move? And then you're going to have true freshmen that are highly touted. You get Dellinger in here at midterm, and Tristan Lay and those guys also coming up behind. Sooner or later and then we'll see any grad transfers or JUCO guys that they bring in. And that's the whole point. You just got to keep. Sometimes you don't know an offensive lineman. You think you got a guy that's going to be the one for you, and the 3-star is the guy who is actually the one who's the best one of the bunch. So you just got to make sure you sign at least 3 every year, and be consistent with it, and you're going to land what you need.
All right, Mike. High school football has reached the point of the playoffs. Week 3 coming up, semifinals. A matchup that I'm really looking forward to would be Catholic High versus Brother Martin. 2 teams that had tough games the past round. Catholic High beat Rummel in a game that was closely contested in the first half. Brother Martin barely squeaked by Jesuit. They might not be the team that some thought they were. What is a matchup that you're looking forward to this weekend?
Yeah, LCA at Newman. Sage Ryan, Arch Manning, Bo Bordelon, Ben Bordelon's son, of course, offensive tackle for Newman now, and one to watch for getting an offer next year, class of 22. U-High at STM is going to be a barn burner. There's some good ones there. And so, yeah, it's and now we got the word yesterday that the championship games are going to be played at Northwestern. I kind of got in some debates with some guys on Twitter saying, why isn't this being played in Lafayette? And,
that just makes too much sense, though, right, Mike?
Lafayette. And I'm looking at the brackets, and I'm like, okay, if you start picking games and seeing some of the teams I've seen, I'm like, because it's a COVID year and they're only going to take 25% anyways, you think of Haynesville and a few schools like that from up north are going to be fine. But when you go bracket by bracket through the classifications, it's obvious that the majority of the teams are going to be from South Louisiana. Right. So I get it. North Louisiana's like, y'all come up here for a change. But what if 9 of the 12 teams are from South Louisiana? But and I kind of also added, having been out to Memorial Stadium a couple of times this season, and just looking at that facility, and I'm like, man, this is an application right now where, because of what the mayor of New Orleans is doing her thing, if there was some money sunk in a Memorial Stadium, that really could have been an option. And somebody said, well, nobody wants to go to a Memorial Stadium when they can go play in a college stadium. I think Memorial Stadium, with not a whole lot of money sunk in it, could be as nice as every other college stadium in the state. And you'd have a great venue in Baton Rouge, like New Orleans has at multiple stadiums, like Gormley and others that they put money into. The bones and the shell of Memorial is still superb. You just put some field turf down and upgrade some of the amenities in the press box. That Memorial Stadium, I think, has got a lot of possibilities that they don't even put any money in it.
You just hit the key, in my opinion, with the grass field, JP. It rains a little bit, and all those games, it'd be a quagmire out there. And kudos to Eddie Bonine and the LHSAA for not leaving it in the hands of LaToya, the destroyer, in New Orleans. This has been ridiculous, and it seems like she's done very little to help high school football get played. And when you don't know what percentage of fans are going to be allowed at that point, I'm glad that they made this decision. But, yeah, Northwestern's got turf, correct? And don't they have a field turf?
Yeah, and that's why I was like, what? But my first tweet was, why not a Cajun field? Well, the Cajuns are still, likely could be hosting the Sun Belt championship game. But, Danny Broussard, St. Thomas More's basketball coach, said, well, the private schools are going to be done a week early. Why not play that on the weekend before in Lafayette? Well, then probably you have top seed De La Salle upset because, they wouldn't want to play St. Thomas More if STM gets past U High. They wouldn't want to play in Lafayette. But what does it matter if each team gets an even amount of tickets at 25% capacity?
By the way, if you could, just clear up some of the injuries on LSU commits. I know Sage Ryan and Nussmeier and some other kids have gotten hurt. None of these look to be serious. That will affect and impact them coming into LSU next year, correct?
Yeah, Nussmeier, non-throwing hand, and he'll play Friday night. In fact, I've got somebody in Texas going to film him for Tiger Bait, so we'll have that video next week. And Sage Ryan, I was told, was just a tweaked hamstring, got a little tight on him, but that he'll be fine. So we'll see how fine he is. He's going to get tested with Newman and Arch Manning and the receiver LSU offered, and that ought to be a good game.
All right, we're getting close to Christmas, so once again, any of you out there watching us in Lafayette, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Morgan City, wherever, JP, very easy and very appreciative. We've given this gift a couple times. I got a buddy of mine right now who doesn't know it, but he's going to get a yearly subscription to Tiger Bait. Mike, tell them how easy it is and the best way to go about doing that.
Yeah, just go to the front page of TigerBait.com. You'll see Santa Claus in a little animation image. Get a digital gift card. Everybody that had gotten their gift cards last year, I think we're at like 80% renewal on those. People love those. You give an annual subscription to Tiger Bait as a Christmas gift. It's a gift that the LSU fan will use every day of the year. So it's a great stocking stuffer at a minimum.
Hey, last one. How many numbers you expecting next week? And for those that are playing and are expected to announce on January 2nd, but sign on December 16, in this world of social media, are we going to find out that they signed, or is that really going to be kept a secret?
I'm just going to make a number up. Let's say there's 16 signees, but there's a couple of them that are committed, and it looks like they didn't sign. Could there be a couple of those types that actually did sign, but they're waiting to announce it on January 2nd on NBC, or they're wanting to hold off because their high school does a big ceremony on the first Wednesday in February? I'm pretty sure that with a nod and a wink, guys like me are going to have a somehow let people know that, hey, calm your fears. He just wants to do a thing with all his teammates, particularly at multiple schools where there's a lot of kids who sign national letters of intents to various size schools.
Hey, last tidbit, tell everybody about your weekly Facebook Live that you and Preston do from time to time.
Yeah, I go Facebook Live midweek. I'm going live tomorrow night. I think Preston's going tonight. And we do our post-game show about an hour after game ends on Facebook and YouTube. So check us out, TigerBait.com on Facebook, and on YouTube, just look for TigerBait.com. Subscribe and hit the notification bell, and you'll get an alert every time we post a video or go live.
We certainly appreciate it, Mike. We'll look forward to talking to you next time, bud.
All right, talk then. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Mike Scarborough from TigerBait.com. We're a little bit behind for a break, so we'll take our last break of today's episode. Come back and join us right here on Tigers Roar.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hello, hola, 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
Here on Tigers Roar, Buddy Songy, Jonathan Poche here to bring you some New Orleans Saints talk. Now 10-2, won 9 in a row. Taysom Hill starting quarterback for the 3rd week in a row. I thought he looked more comfortable in the pocket than I've seen him in his entire career.
2 touchdown passes in the first half. Of course, they're going against the former Alabama and Oklahoma quarterback Jalen Hurts. Sunday afternoon, 3:25 on Fox. You like the way the Saints are playing defense. And obviously, let's be honest, they're just doing enough to get by on offense. When do you think Breeze is back? 2 weeks?
2 weeks, Kansas City. That'd be a good time frame.
And got a big one coming up with Kansas City. But the Saints actually have a chance, and who would have thought this after they started the way they did, that the Saints could have a chance to have home field advantage the rest of the way if they take care of business.
That's right. They got to keep a game ahead of the Packers because they know if we tie a record with the Packers, they had the tiebreaker because they beat us in head-to-head competition. Drew Brees expected to come back. He's cleared to come back this week. Don't think that's going to happen. 11 fractures. You don't bounce back from that in 3 or 4 weeks. It's going to take a little more time. Kansas City, a juggernaut of an offense. Saints defense, though, playing excellent football. Lots of pressure on the quarterback. A guy named Trey Hendrickson is now tied for the lead in the NFL with sacks. Dumerville, can't remember his first name off the top of my head. Not Dumerville, Davenport, Marcus Davenport, a guy Saints spent 2 first-round picks to get, is now having trouble seeing the field because Trey Henderson has just played out of his mind this season across from Cam Jordan, who's also starting to pick it up. Cam loves to play against the Falcons. He loves to hit Matt Ryan. Did so again this past Sunday. Saints go with a big win against a heated rival in the Falcons.
I know it's 2020, but I'm going to guarantee Michael Thomas will score his first touchdown reception. Do you realize he's not gotten in the end zone? Not once, but 2 touchdown receptions this weekend against Philadelphia. He's due. Love Troutman at tight end.
Yeah.
And they've done a good job with the running backs. Kamara out the backfield is tough to contain, and we know this. Taysom Hill, a little more ball security, especially when you're soaking the clock out.
Jeez.
By the way, we didn't mention much, but Kayshon Boutte, make sure you cross the goal line before you let go of the football.
Right.
Good that Jonathan Kirkland did that, but I like the Saints to win another ugly game, and then Drew Brees comes back the following week.
The Saints have a history of making rookie or quarterbacks making their debut in the NFL, making them look really good. I mean, don't look back far to remember RG3.
Cam Jordan's eating again.
I certainly hope so. Jalen Hurts does some things with his legs on the field. Of course, Carson Wentz got benched. Eagles struggling a little bit, but like I said, the Saints have history of making rookie and debut quarterbacks look pretty good. Hopefully this defense continue their dominant play. Look, Demario Davis, if he is not the best linebacker in the game, he might be top 2, and I don't think he's number 2.
I mean, Dr. K and Betsy and everybody loves Alex Alonso, his hair, but Anzalone's hair, but Quan Alexander, a great pickup for being next to Demario Davis. I like 56 and 58, but he looks like Fabio. You too young to know who Fabio is, but
I can't believe it's not butter.
He's been replaced by
Come on, you don't remember those commercials, man?
Yeah, I do. I do, but I'm happy Quan Alexander is the same.
And the chemistry they have built between Demario Davis and Quan Alexander already, all of them have their secret handshakes between Quan Alexander. It's like he's been there since day one, a guy that can fly sideline to sideline. Only question mark, Quan Alexander, can he stay healthy? When he is healthy, he averages 100 tackles a season. Definitely an upgrade from Anzalone, who did play well his first 2 seasons for the Saints. Saw some drop-off in production. Troutman, you mentioned that tight end. He's making Jared Cook obsolete. Jared Cook did catch a touchdown last game, but another ugly drop. Got the Jimmy Graham alligator arms going over the middle. Drew Brees supposed to come back. Clear to come back, we mentioned this week. Probably won't see him again until in 2 weeks in Kansas City.
All right, we hope to see you next week. Once again, talking recruiting with all of the not verbal commitments, but turning into JP, wrapping it up. Does LSU get through all this negativity and convince 16, 17, 18 kids to sign next Wednesday?
I think they do. I think signing him is not the problem anymore. It's keeping him. I mean, you got to sign the player, develop the player, have him had success on the field, keep the player, let him hopefully graduate from LSU with a degree, because then that's what college is all about. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's a big deal. We'll be back here on Tigers Roar in just a couple weeks. If we don't do it next week, it will be the week after that. I know it's the holiday season we mentioned earlier in this program. Remind those you care about that you love them. Talk to them. Make them sure they're not feeling lonely, especially the elderly. Check on your neighbors. Be there for one another. Everybody here in this country need to stick together. So much diversity, so much divisiveness. Football season, as you mentioned, college football. I mean, we're turning third, rounding third, heading for home. It's been a crazy, crazy 2020. It's almost over, and hopefully we get back to some sort of normalcy in 2021.
No doubt about it. Be safe. Have a blessed Christmas, everybody. And once again, like JP said, let's see if we can just not only listen to Aretha Franklin, R-E-S-P-E-C-T, but have a little respect for everybody. Let's try to get along, and let's try to get Baton Rouge going back to where we can have a great year in 2021. I don't know if I can handle another one from an anxiety standpoint with 2020. So I'm actually going to have a cocktail at 11:59 on New Year's Eve.
It was a huge party at my parents' house for the new decade. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like when 2020 is over at my dad's house. You know he's going to have a cocktail.
Don't
probably
tell
a cigar.
Latoya. She'll send somebody to see if you got more than 8 in the house.
She don't know where I live.
Okay. Good deal.
We appreciate you here on Tigers Road. Don't forget, check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. A great way to keep up with everything we do with the Pelican. We'll talk to you soon. The Budman Buddy Songy. I'm John the Poche. Have a great evening.
It's all yours, Doctor.